Hey, Josh, how would you characterize us if you had to describe us?
So far, I'd go with car talk without the cars.
Welcome to another episode of Thought Spiral. Thought Spiral, brought to you by the Archer Daniels Midland Corporation. Shouldn't the name Midland be in the middle? And brought to you by TIAA Craft. We're one of those companies that doesn't do anything. You don't know what we are, but you are intrigued by the fact that we sponsor things. And the Rosenthal Family Foundation. Phil Rosenthal's a friend of mine. Why can't he throw us a bone?
Why can't I name drop in the endorsement?
But no, I mean like brought to you by the Rosenthal Family Foundation. Boom. He ponies up $100,000 a year.
Boom. I think
Boom.
I'd make the call, I say.
All right, I have something I have to get off my chest.
Okay.
I think I'm lactating.
Wow.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm on tonight, but I could be on in all the wrong ways.
I'm really having that it could go either way feeling.
It could go
tonight.
either way. Well, it also could be incredibly entertaining,
sure,
but annoying to you.
Yeah, I think those are not mutually exclusive for our audience.
That's right, because I always think you're about to lower. You gotta have like a slow burn. You go a little Kindler. That's my fear.
It's like Skipper. Down. It's like Skipper on Gilligan's Island. I might just swat you with my hat at some point.
No, I think it means you eventually manage your own restaurant in the Marina Del Rey. That was the thing. There was a restaurant called Alan Hale's.
Right.
And people say, can you believe he doesn't even own it? I don't even know what you're talking about. He was on Gilligan's Island. I know he didn't get residuals, but what did you think was going to happen to him?
Right.
He'll be able.
I know you forever, therefore you're rich forever.
Right. No, Skippers would have been better. Skippers.
Right.
Oh, little. And then on the menu, my little buddy, the little buddy special.
He's shaking his fist at Sherwood Schwartz.
How much luggage did they bring on that 3-hour tour?
Oh,
Martini?
Man. Geez, the professor could make coconut cold fusion.
Right. No, you see, that's the thing. They didn't have cold fusion back then. I'm the comedy detective. But here's the thing. I worked on an Excel sheet, if you bring it up, for the paywall. So if you bring up the Excel sheet on there.
Click. Here it is.
All right, now have I done this joke before? I will get the listeners to pay for the wall.
No, that's good.
And I will call it the paywall.
There you go.
Come on, man. I have been getting nothing but emails saying, this is free? I can't even believe it. So here's my plan. We give them 3 minutes free. Total of our rockin'. No, it has to be enough time for it to be entertaining.
Right.
We give them 30 minutes.
Right. We give them 6 weeks.
We give them 6 weeks. No, we start to do, you can listen to it for free. But if you want to give in more, how about Josh Weinstein X-ray specs?
Yes, it's all about merch these days, Andy. You know that's where we're headed, is the huge online store of Andy Kindler-faced merchandise.
Did you go to a workshop that enables your voice to be more lilting?
Yes, I did.
What is that new voice? We're not an FM AOR album-oriented rock. Hi, I'm Josh Weinstein, and I'm not Jewish.
Okay, I'm sorry. How's this?
Is that me?
It's just compatible for.
That's Jerry Lewis.
No, it's Jerry Lewis I'm doing.
Here's you. I'm Josh Weinstein. You couldn't tell I'm Jewish, except for the name, I guess. All right. Forget that theory. Forget that theory. But my manager is named Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
He didn't do it himself, but he had very wise ancestors. Who said, who needs the aggravation?
I come from the assimilating type.
Yeah. Who needs the wine? But you know what? What if in a different world, a different culture, everyone could have been named Weinstein? Thank God that didn't happen.
Tell me about it. There's already enough Josh Weinsteins.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say "tell me about it"? People always say "tell me about it," but they don't really want to know. Oh, it's just it's an affirmation after a sentence.
No, I wanted actually more information from you about me.
I'm on today, baby. I'm on. This is the best podcast opening we've done so far. So I feel like I could let the ball go, put the pressure on you.
Okay.
You be the entertainment.
Okay.
I'll be the reactor guy.
All right.
That implies it's been the other way around, which I like.
How was your week? Huh?
Well, this week was pretty good because Josh and we did our first Thought Spiral
field
trip yes. And lunch. We went to Brent's.
Yeah, Brent's Deli in Northridge.
And
beautiful Northridge.
Yes, I did get recognized. Thanks for bringing that up, Josh.
You did.
Yeah.
There was a nice old lady at the next booth. Who was like, excuse me, I don't know your name, but I do. I've seen you.
Yeah,
and you were more than happy to volunteer your name.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And then your resume.
And then the resume. What's the favorite episode that she enjoyed of me?
Right, exactly.
And I said I was on Everybody Loves Raymond. She goes, I've seen you on more things than that. So even
she did say that.
She was saying, stop pushing Raymond.
You did a James Comey memo after the encounter, which was weird, I thought. But
I was very upset by how she was drilling me, which is also what I said to my wife on our wedding night.
And then there was
see, that punchline's going big.
And then there was also someone you sort of knew who came up to the table.
Well, that doesn't count, Josh.
And you pretended to know them a little too much.
No,
frankly.
I pretended that what I did was my classic. I try to convince them I don't know them. That is from television.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Didn't
no, it was socially awkward.
But I do want to say, and this is not to put you down. Nobody recognized you.
No, they
at
didn't.
all.
No.
In fact, someone said you forgot to bus table 7 to him, like he's the bus person. See how he added dignity to the joke at the end by saying bus person.
I'm stunned. I'm gobsmacked.
What does that mean? Is gobsmacked a negative thing?
It was in this case.
Gobsmacked. I thought gobsmacked was something Bazooka Joe did.
By your put down. So does that make you feel like a big man?
Look, I feel bad that I called ahead to the restaurant to ask them, to tell them who I was.
Right.
I said Andy Kindler, as in the... Yes, that's spelled Andy Kindler. How do you spell it? As in the comedian?
Yes. Exactly.
That's actually a joke from my act.
Really?
Here's the other way I do it. Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for 2 people under Kindler. Andy Kindler? Yes! I am the Andy Kindler. Yes!
That's great.
You know how many times that happens?
Never.
Has not happened yet.
Never
First of all, no
happened.
one answers the phone anymore.
No.
When you make a reservation on Open Table. Open Table would be a great sponsor for us. Forget the Patreon. Thought Spiral is brought to you by Open Table. Have you ever made reservations and you thought, why can't I do it through another party? Why can't I add a middleman? Think about Open Table.
Now, folks, I'm guessing right about this time of the show, you're having some serious reservations. Well, wait a second.
See, that's the thing. You will promise that you will write top-notch material like that if we get a sponsor.
I'll ghostwrite it for you because you're the very public face of the company.
Look, let's let the dream go of either me dreaming I bring cachet to the table. I bring nothing to the table. But how are our numbers?
People do know you.
How are our numbers?
Our numbers are good.
How was our numbers this week as opposed to last week?
Our numbers are higher on the release of
the Monday show,
of episode 6 than they were of episode 5.
Yeah, kiss my ass, show business. You want me and Josh? Let's see the money. Show us the money.
The money fixation is really not working for us as a people.
Josh, I know. Look, we don't want to make the stereotypes like all Jews think about is money, but all I could think about while I was saying that was money. Do you know, I don't know if I've done this bit, but I have a bit about how if the Jews didn't want to get made fun of for money, they shouldn't have made one of their main songs in their only play about how, if I, a guy imagining if he was a rich man. Oh, if I had some money, zee, 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 zoo, za, za, za. I changed the melody just in case.
That was good. I appreciate it.
Did you ever see the movie?
I did.
I did. I just recently saw the movie, and it's got either Starsky or Hutch in it.
I think it's Starsky.
Because
sure
who's David Soul?
David,
he was not in it.
I saw my friend in Minneapolis at the Westwood Lutheran Church production.
Of what?
Of Fiddler on the Roof.
That sounds like the worst evening of your life.
It was super hilarious.
Well, who played Zero Mostel?
L'chaim, they said.
L'chaim?
L'chaim.
Well, wait a second. I thought you grew up in a Jewish area.
I did, but there was Lutherans there too.
Oh.
When I say Jewish area, that means like 20% Jewish.
You know what they say? The Lutheran productions of Fiddler on the Roof are the greatest in the world.
Always the best.
Because they bring a certain separation from it.
And at Jewish camp, I once was in a production of West Side Story where the gangs were the Jews and the gents.
They actually use Jews as one of the gangs?
Yes, the Jews and the gents.
And does that camp get closed down?
No, it's a Jewish camp, so.
The Jews and the gents. Why don't they have it?
Gents.
Gents.
Gent.
Oh, I know what
Gentile.
They said.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of it. I didn't even get the joke. I got gentlemen. No, they were trying to give it to the gent. So in other words, isn't Gentile by definition a negative, or is that more goyim?
I think when you're starting off with Jew on one team, anything on the other team is a negative.
Jews against the idiots who don't believe, who think that Christ rose.
The dumb guys are gonna have their way tonight.
If anybody wants to know what that was Josh singing a song from West Side Story, but not enough to trigger a payment.
Just that one night sang it as one note.
We both have tweeted about how terrible the Farmer in the Dell song is being used.
Have we?
Yeah, we both did. Yours was similar to. You can only tweet the one way about it.
Yeah.
Why would you ruin that? Why do you have that song? I went the other way. I hated that song when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I hate it now. The Farmer in the Dell. The Farmer in the Dell. But you want to like it because it's ExxonMobil. And
Do you like it as an
corporation.
electric slack key guitar riff?
That's the worst part of it. And I've talked about this on Twitter before, how TV commercials and television shows in general have ruined rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
But they're the only people that pay rock and roll musicians anymore.
I don't care. Do the impression of how that sound, the guitar sound on the. Do you think what they do?
You can call me an energy farmer.
Again, we're rooting for that commercial because we love ExxonMobil so much.
Sure.
We want to give them a chance.
Yeah, they're the home team, but sure.
God, they stink as a company. And their guy who's now, he looks like I don't care about how old you are. This guy looks like he should never, he was old when he was 2 years old.
Are you talking about Rex Tillerson?
Rex Tillerson, who is he's a is numbskull okay to say? Because this guy's a numbskull.
I think you're safe with numbskull, yeah.
However, we would still accept ExxonMobil backing for the show.
Really?
Or napalm.
I was about to say,
We're not your father's napalm.
Can we go to Altria?
Hi. Napalm used to be used for killing. Now it's used like a sterno. Oh, man, I'm edgy now.
You are.
Yeah.
Agent Andy.
Agent Andy. So that is what I would like to call our first chunk.
That was a chunk?
That was a chunk.
That was nice. You identified the chunk as opposed to the lull after the chunk.
This is I walked over here tonight, and when I walked over here, as you know, I go in disguise. I have my shirt. I have a shirt that says "Ask me about my corporate gigs." And I said to myself, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm going to make a rule for myself. I'm not going to ever identify the lulls.
Really?
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help.
No.
It never helps.
Well, this is certainly a dead spot. It doesn't help in my act. It doesn't help in the podcast. I thought there would be some place for my charming self-deprecation would take off.
Yeah, well, usually that kind of thing happens after 60.
That is not nice. You know what?
But you're more famous than me, so I can...
I look 40 years younger than you.
I'm punching up.
Barely.
You just gave me my excuse.
First of all, I would like
punch up.
I would like to measure that punch because I don't believe you're punching up. I think you're punching slightly down with me because I'm shorter.
Well, but
anyway.
Still, your stature is so much bigger.
Well, Josh, I don't like to brag about the fact that I've been doing stand-up comedy for 33 years and don't seem to be able to eke out a living.
No, you're eking just fine.
I'm doing fine. Why? First of all I care about is this year I go to Montreal. I go to I'm going to Acme Comedy Company in August.
Beautiful.
And there better be tickets flying out the door based on the podcast.
I think there will be. How can there not be?
Because you said that Tom Segura gets people into the seats.
Yeah.
But I'm not Tom Segura.
No.
Hello. He's got a career. Hello. True. That guy's popular now. He also has a thing where he puts out like albums and stuff. It takes me 7 years to put out an album.
No, it's only been 4.
Yeah, and the next CD, which is called Hence the Humor.
Right. Which you recorded in 2013.
How do you remember that?
See, some people listen and retain.
As the worst, maybe the most milquetoasty slam I've ever heard. Some people are able to listen to information and regurgitate it.
Do you ever hear the podcast so you can hear what I said on it?
I've heard the podcast, and I have software that eliminates your voice.
Yes.
Not only that, I'm able to add a response from myself to it.
It's like Comedy -1 album.
Exactly, which is an Albert Brooks album. I've listened to it. Here's what I haven't done. Every time you say to me, don't forget to watch this guy on that show, I forgot. I didn't watch Ice Cube on Mar, and I didn't listen to all the rest of the podcast so far.
Well, then you're 2 for 2.
Well, I have mixed feelings about I know like people think that when they say like Johnny Depp says he never watches himself,
Yeah.
people think he's lying. I believe he doesn't watch himself.
No, I honestly don't care about you listening it for your performance. I would just like you to listen to it so you know what story you told.
Oh, because the worst thing in the world would be for one of my charming show business hilarious stories to be repeated.
You already did that.
I did that exact discussion about it. Did I talk about the colonization of Jupiter? No, because it's in the future. Why would I pick a Jew-sounding planet? Where are you from? We're from Jupiter. Oh, that's... Are you the gents or the Jews?
We're
Boom.
the Jews.
Callback.
There you go.
If I couldn't retain information, because I remember that was a callback.
No, I think that's good.
I'm on.
Stretch it out.
You may not
Stretch
get
it out.
nominated for tonight's
Potty.
part, but I am definitely going to get a podcasty.
Okay.
A potty.
A potty.
In the category of carrying the entire show of a duo.
I'll see you at the after potty.
Do you hate the recurring jokes about me dominating the show, or do you find them charming?
I'm somewhere in between, really.
Well, that's the way you feel about me in general.
This is true.
In rank of your closest, Rick Reynolds, you know him?
Yeah, but not for 25 years.
Neither do I, but he used to rate his friends every year.
Really?
Like a top 10 list of his friends. And that's why he doesn't have friends now. But where would
can
you
he get
put
to
me?
10? Can he get to 10?
Not Rick Reynolds. But where would you put me? In the top 10 of your friends?
Oh, for sure. The top 10.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Who do I have?
Let's not put a finer point on it.
Yeah, let's not get embarrassing.
No, well, it depends where your threshold
What
is.
Is that a sexual? Are you coming on to me? Is that what they mean when they say fire point? That's not my name.
Tell me about it.
Now, before the show tonight, Josh.
Yeah.
You got a little dig in there because I always think you're playing the long game with this what I would call gaslighting, but the kids today don't know about gaslighting.
They do now, actually.
They do now. I want you to say that you think you're happier than me.
Well, I said it as a response to you once again trying to belittle me.
What did I
in
say?
your email?
What did I say?
Well, your email was because I forwarded you an email and you responded with, "Does it seem to you that I'm more beloved than you?"
Yeah, that's just
asking.
Just curious.
Right.
It's just wondering.
My response being, "Does it seem to you that I'm still somehow happier than you?"
Oh, okay. But the thing is, we get a lot of mail. How much would you say? How many pieces of mail do we get? Not pieces.
Well, the physical mail we get, in
Hundreds.
the low hundreds, I would say.
And they're all addressed to Santa Claus.
right. And then the emails,
Yeah.
I have a side hard drive for those.
God, your grasp of technical lingo. A side hard drive?
Yeah, a side hard drive.
I don't think that's correct. So why do you think? So, but you do. Then you said, yes, I do think I'm happier.
No, I'll stand behind it.
Okay, so let me hear
sure.
your arguments for this.
You're super unhappy a lot of the time, or angry, or dissatisfied.
Why do you have to add super to it?
Because it's a young person thing.
Well, you're just going by me on Twitter, right?
No, I know you. You might have noticed.
Wait, when I have socialized with you, I haven't been pleasant?
No, you've always been pleasant.
But you think that
pleasant and happy are two different things, Andy.
You see me as unhappy. See, I always think, now that I'm in therapy, I always think that I always try to show people that I'm happy.
Right, but since you've been in therapy, I'm averaging your life, Andy. We're not talking about...
All right, 60
this is not
years,
a snapshot thing here.
60 years of bone-crushing depression.
Right,
but
and then 6 months of good.
Yeah, but see, I think of you as being unhappy.
Really?
Not really. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
So when people are quiet, I always get nervous. What's their angle?
They just seem too satisfied. Why aren't they complaining?
Well, here's the other thing. I think I come from the school of, have you asked me about what's bothering me?
Right.
Have you thought about asking me?
As much as I'm a Jew, I'm also a Minnesotan.
You're not a Jew that way.
I'm a Minnesotan.
You're a Minnesotan Jew.
So I'm for a Minnesotan, I'm you to a Minnesotan.
Right. Well, if you don't know what a Minnesota Jew is, it would be, think of a Lutheran playing in Fiddler on the Roof.
Right, exactly. L'chaim.
You know who does a great impression of the Midwest Jew is Dave Higgins.
Oh, yeah. What does he do? Oh,
he says, "I'd like to thank Mrs. Weinstein for bringing the chicken tonight? I can't do it exactly like
No,
him.
because you sound like a Jew. You actually sound like a Jew. There's no irony
Well, he does
to
too.
it.
He does it too. He
Yeah.
really does. But,
I'd like to thank. I bet he puts a little more lilt in it.
oh, so your thing is you ask people for impressions and then you guide them through their impression?
That's my thing with this particular one because you really tanked it.
Now, okay, so when we went, okay, how about the day we went out for our field trip, which was to Brent's, which is an amazing deli, and if they would like to, how about they sponsor us?
See, now we're talking.
Thought Spiral, brought to you by Brent's. There's no better way to listen to Thought Spiral than while eating a pastrami Reuben.
That's right.
I'm
And
not
I
saying-
even posted a picture of you at
And it was a
Brent's.
good picture. It was a good picture
I
of
liked
me.
the picture, and the caption was Andy Kindler at a deli, just like you imagine him.
It's unbelievable. Well, the thing that's unbelievable is that this Brent's is like all of a sudden you're in old style deli land, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Northridge, California, certainly.
Right. It's not like next door to it. It's a kosher butcher shop.
No, it's like this place that just planted its
Next to a
flag
Hadassah.
30 years ago, and went, do what you want around us, but we're staying here.
It's not a big Chabad telethon area.
No, it's
Well, there's got to be tons of Jews out here. Is what I've decided.
there's Jews were all over the place, but
Yeah.
but it's not a Jewish neighborhood.
And the food is unbelievable there. I have been told, not told, but I crave soup. It's only been the last couple of years I don't crave it as much. But you always try the soup. Like Susan's dad, who passed away, his thing was always if the soup's good, the restaurant's good.
Yeah, with any kind of restaurant or a deli.
Any kind of restaurant.
Yeah.
He was saying you could try. I think there's a point to be had because I noticed that when the soup is bad, you go, okay, well, they're not even trying to make home ingredients.
Right.
But then maybe they just don't like soup at that restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't like gazpacho either.
No, you can't tell anything by someone's gazpacho.
And I don't want it.
No.
If it's too hot for soup, let's just have a melon.
You know what? Give me some chips. It's salsa now.
It really is not soup. That is not soup.
No, it's not. It's a
Gazpacho.
mistake.
By the way, we've added a new feature. You can call us during the show, but you have to know when we're recording because we don't advertise that.
Right. Well, we kind of do, but
So call 1-800-555-5555. That joke never gets new or never gets old. So did I seem in a good mood that day at the deli?
you did. I think it's also telling that we went out on a 2-hour outing and never talked about the show.
That's right. That's right.
We had an opportunity,
Yeah.
and we still made no plans.
What
for
would
the
we have
show.
said about it over lunch? Now look, Andy.
Well, here's something we could do to make the show better next week.
Yeah.
We could have said something like that.
Why don't we
But
take?
you were going, oh, does anybody recognize me? Anyone? Hello?
Didn't say it that loud.
How's your meal? Hi.
Hi.
How's your meal?
Does
That was unnecessary.
does
the full
everybody
lap around
love-
the restaurant?
You mean walking table to table?
Yeah. You're not the manager.
No, but I thought people would want to see.
You're Jimmy Carter on a plane all of a sudden?
I love Jimmy Carter on that plane.
What?
I love that he shook everyone's hand. I love Jimmy Carter. I didn't love him as president,
No, nobody loved him as president.
but I love him as a man.
right.
And sexually.
well, it's there's a worse rap to get. I mean, we have the opposite right now.
Yes, the worst president in the
Right.
world.
But who's like too bad a person to be president, whereas Jimmy Carter was always too good a person to be president.
I think he was just about the right amount of good person, but I don't think he was a good administrator. He didn't know how to. He wasn't a good people person, and we should never have not gone to the Olympics that one year. Don't ever not go to the Olympics, unless I guess maybe if Hitler's back.
But the same theory. Same theory. We should have boycotted.
I don't know that we should have boycotted it because Jesse Owens showed.
Yeah,
showed
he
Hitler
changed
up.
everything. That
He
Jesse
did. He
Owens.
avoided World War II because Jesse Owens.
Thank you, Jesse.
Hitler said, "You know what? Maybe other races and religions are inferior."
Right.
Do you know they don't even talk about all the great Jewish athletes on the German team? I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think there may have been one. I think there was one who was actually not allowed to compete.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know every anecdote about Jewish people being slighted. You know what I like to hear when we get the feedback?
I
though?
know all the all-star teams that Hank Greenberg didn't make.
And in our time period, Sean Green.
Sean Green,
Come
yes. Quite a Jew.
There's so many great Jews.
So many. I went to Rod Carew's house when I was a kid.
Oh my God! How'd that happen?
And I don't think he actually ever truly converted to Judaism, but he married a Jewish woman.
Is that why you were allowed to
Minneapolis.
go to his house?
He married into a family that was connected to my family, and like the kid was babysitting my brother and I, and the same night Rod Carew was having a birthday party for his daughter, and he showed Rocky at his house.
Oh, man.
Like right around the time it was in theaters. He like had a projector.
Oh, that's so
and
great.
literally showed Rocky in his living room.
And was it fun?
It was super fun. It was Rod Carew's house.
And you knew
Hall of Famer Rod Carew's house.
right. So you were a baseball fan or not?
Yeah, well, it's Minneapolis, so you know who he was the star of the Minnesota Twins,
Now they never.
and he was Jewish.
Well, you're
Half
saying
Jewish,
he was.
yes.
Can you imagine someone really like
He wore a Star of David. That was
Well, here comes my racist guy. Well, he was not. Was he from the Dominican Republic?
I believe so. Yes.
Why am I not getting more credit from my genius knowledge of where other people come from? Sports players.
Yeah, okay. Louis Tiant.
Louis Tiant was a pitcher, I think,
Yeah.
and he was from Cuba.
Wrong.
Where was he from?
I have no idea.
Now, the Twins never won a World Series till when?
1987.
Oh, okay. And not through... Oh, they must have been an expansion team.
They went to the World Series in '69 against the Dodgers.
Never,
I'm
never
sorry,
lie
65,
about that. because
65.
Yeah, but you know why you can't say...
69 was the Mets. I'm sorry.
Exactly,
65 was the Twins Dodgers.
Why do you have your notification on?
Did it just ding?
Well, it could be mine.
It's yours.
Is that your idea of when we do our road movies? I'm the guy who always messes up. Who left the alarm on? It's Andy. I just got sick from the idea of having to do road movies. I don't like road movies. Did you like the Hope? I haven't seen them.
No, none.
The only Bob Hope movies I saw was like White Christmas or something. I've never seen the road movies that Woody Allen loves.
Yeah. No,
Have you?
I've seen. Yes, I mean I've never seen all of them. Certainly.
Okay,
but
so
I
they're
saw,
not as
like,
great
Road to
as-
Morocco or something.
They're not as great as Woody Allen would have us believe.
No, but Bob.
he was a-
Bob Hope was a funny smartass.
That's right.
in
I do
movies.
believe that. Yeah, I do believe that. I can't. If anybody wants to know what that rocking sound is, Josh has added a vase of flowers to the podcast.
Yeah, it wasn't actually me, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Nor can you hear it.
Do you know that I
I'm
had
wearing
this
earphones.
exact table?
You can't hear it.
You
by
can't
the way.
hear it. No, I had this table. These things. Does this table pull out?
Yes.
I had this table.
Really?
It got broken in the move. It doesn't look like this, but it was the same concept.
Gotcha.
But yours was nicer.
We bought this table and this hutch behind us, and
Why are you pointing on radio?
because I'm telling you a story. And,
I can't wait till we put the video part
We
of this.
we bought it, and the guy's like, "This is the same one that Ben Affleck bought last week." I'm like, "Oh." I really had second thoughts. I'm like, "Oh."
Well, now I'm not only friends with Seth Rogen, I'm retweeting. Did you see that thing he did where
He
he
retweeted the deli picture, or no, he didn't. He faved the deli picture.
Did you see that picture he did where he's posing with a guy taking a picture, and then he has
Yes.
4 poses with the picture in picture?
Yes.
I was very entertained by that. I could never have the. Would you do that? Was that one? I know you talk to him all the time. Was that a one shoot day?
He said it was for over 4 years.
And who's the guy? We don't know.
I have no idea.
All right.
There was a comic in Minneapolis named Chris Raines. Did you ever meet him? He was out here for a while.
Oh, I think I know that name.
He lived with Paul Dillery and Joe Keys.
Paul Dillery.
Yes.
I love Paul Dillery.
But Chris Raines used to...
Oh, I like Joe Keys too. That made it sound like Joe Keys. Not so much.
Not so much. But Chris Raines used to, every year he'd get a new headshot, and each year he would have he'd be holding the previous headshot.
That's
so
good.
he had like that deep mirror effect going all the way in.
Oh man! And now what happened to him? I think he was funny when I saw him, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he committed suicide.
What is the matter with you?
He
What is
committed
the matter with you? Why do you bring up a person who I could ask a follow-up
There was
question?
no way around what happened to
You
him.
could have passed me a note. Don't
no way
ask.
around it.
Oh, that's funny. What's he doing now? Committed suicide. Does he have a family?
Not anymore.
I hope they don't listen. If you're a member or a relative,
He had no family.
that's good. Thank God. There are some people when they die, you can make fun of them because they have no family,
Right.
and they don't care.
Right. Chris certainly is in that category.
And now, was he a guy that you always knew was moody?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
No, mental illness was always a part of the package.
But
with him.
was he funny?
Super funny.
Wow.
Dark, super funny. Like crazy. You could see on stage he was crazy.
Yeah, and that's always sad to me that you
And
can be
was-
so funny and sad.
It was like just this side of like street person ranting crazy too. He had like a real special energy.
Well, that's like a Brother Theodore thing, right?
He was very Brother Theodore-y. Yeah.
Now Brother Theodore? Do you think like Brother Theodore? My image of Brother Theodore, I didn't see him that much, was that he really was just going. You know what I mean? Like he didn't plan out these riffs; he just connected with them. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, or he was a genius.
Right. Well, who's the guy who was Oscar Levant?
Yeah.
And he was supposedly, I haven't seen, he's supposed to be amazing on talk shows.
Yeah, I've seen long clips of him on like Jack Parrish era shows, and
Yeah.
he was quite the depressed intellectual.
Yeah, I liked him.
And he talked about being depressed
He was also
and
conscious-
depression.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever they talk about things, that's what I'm always interested in. People aren't afraid to talk about, like I'm not afraid to talk about, well, I'm very happy. But if I was unhappy, I'd be the first person to say I'm unhappy.
You are generally the first person to say you're unhappy.
Now, give me an example of how this would play out, my terrible, angry unhappiness, Mr. Big Shot, Mr. The Sky is Always Bluer.
Let's go to the tape.
Let's go. Now,
I'm not saying you're unhappy. I'm
I
just
don't
saying I'm
know. I don't
happier.
know.
I'm saying I'm happier. I'm happier.
I just
than
wanted
you.
to stretch the bit longer.
It's just easier to be me than it is for you to be you.
That's right. And you know what I said to myself today? I'm not going to say when there's a lull. Why is it
But
that
speaking of people talking about their depression and things, you just watched, and I watched as well this weekend, that Cary Grant documentary.
that was unbelievable? You watched it too?
Yeah.
I was very affected by that because Cary Grant had I don't remember what. Should we not spoil alert anything?
I don't think we have to.
We can or we can't
I think,
talk about it.
hey, if you don't want to know that Cary Grant died in 1986, don't listen.
Yeah, don't listen to the next 3 minutes. If your reason to watch the Cary Grant documentary is because you think it's a cliffhanger. Right. Well, the only thing I forgot was his mother went to an asylum, and this was terrible back in the days in England
Right.
when they called them lunatic asylums.
Right.
And where you could commit someone in your family if your husband said, I don't think she's well.
Right. So off she went for
off she
10
went.
years or something.
Now I'd like that for my mother-in-law.
Hello.
I'd like that on my wedding night. So what did they? I forgot what they told him when his mother did have mental problems. He had a younger brother.
She did. They sent her off to the thing, and the next day they said she went off on vacation to Bristol or something.
Oh, okay. They never said that she died,
She went off on a trip. Yeah.
and they just never came back from
And
the
then
trip.
they never talked about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cary Grant, whose name was Archie Leach, he thinks that his mother's abandoned him because of their ridiculous way that they did it. But also his younger brother died from gangrene because his mother closed the door on his hand by mistake, and then she could never let that go, that she had done that.
Right.
So she did have mental
That
problems.
will leave a mark on any mother, I think.
I don't know why I laughed. Whatever happened to your younger brother? You mean the one who died from gangrene because my mother was too tired to take him to the... did they have emergency care back then?
They had it, but not for the leeches. They actually used leeches.
Back in those days. But the thing that's amazing about it is, first of all, I didn't know that much about Cary Grant.
Yeah.
I had known about the LSD thing because I'm fascinated by anything with drugs,
Right.
LSD. But he'd take LSD and he would put a blindfold on and with his psychotherapist, and he really worked out a lot of these issues that he realized was poisoning his relationships with women and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that was interesting. I mean, we were watching it from different eyes, I think, because I'm a documentary director, and I made a documentary about an English guy with an insane mother who came to Hollywood and reinvented himself.
Yes, yes.
So I
Tell
had,
people the name in case they want to get
Michael DeBar, Who Do You Want Me to Be, coming out in 2018.
Why do you do a quasi like sales voice with that?
Because you set me up to do just that.
Yeah, but that was a weak sales voice.
Michael J. Barr, who do you want me to be coming in 2018? That was my
2018.
That was my AM DJ.
Help me
voice.
with funny cars.
Traction, traction, action, action. This Sunday we'll turn the Metrodome into a giant mud pit.
I interrupted you for a change.
Yeah. So I was watching it, for the storytelling.
Right.
And like the LSD thing to me was like, it's like, okay, every time we cut to him and
No, that wasn't the best cutting.
no, well,
you
it like
mean the
gave
recreation.
the recreation. They did a dramatization of Cary
I don't think they
Grant
needed that.
lying on a couch with his blindfold
They
on.
could have lost
But
that.
the thing is the reason they did it was because they had all this disparate footage from his camera. So whenever they just wanted to like throw in about 10 different
right.
clips from his life, all they had to do was intersperse a picture of him having an acid trip, and it all made sense.
Yeah, I didn't. But you see, that's the thing. It's interesting. I did not. I was so fascinated by the subject matter that I was not watching critically.
Yeah, and I just can't help it.
But
That's been true since I was a child. By the
I
way.
know. So in other words, you have a little bit of a. I don't want to say it's like a. It's like a. Are you removed emotionally from movies?
I have no ability to suspend my disbelief.
Is that really true?
Yeah, like virtually none. I'm always watching with two eyes.
So-
I'm always trying to figure out how this thing is made as I'm watching it as an audience member.
So you're saying like this?
Like I remember that at like watching Welcome Back, Kotter as a little kid and trying to figure out like how the studio audience fit into the.
I can't believe that you were not able to suspend that part of your mind to fully immerse yourself in Welcome Back, Kotter.
I know.
I love that show. So you never cry at movies?
You know what makes me cry in movies is triumph of any kind.
The insult dog?
Not the insult comic dog. Like anytime, like end of a sports movie,
Yeah.
I'll cry. Anytime any character has some sort of personal victory for some reason,
Yeah.
that's like tragedy. I don't cry. Sadness, I don't generally cry. But any kind of is like a happy, like end of Karate Kid, that kind of victory. I do like when I'm watching The Voice and someone nails it.
Yeah.
I get teary.
So would you say you're a sociopath?
I think so. Or an old lady. I might be an old lady too.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Now, I told myself I wasn't going to say I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But because it's happening.
But you forgot.
I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
But the quote I love from that movie was he says, there's no end to getting well. I love that quote.
Right.
And just the idea, I just thought it was like, because now I'm in therapy and I'm seeing what you did to me, very similar to what his family did to him.
Right.
Where's your dog? Your dog went on vacation. I don't know why I went for that joke. But I was able to really relate to his depth as a person, and I didn't know much about it. It made me want to see, for example, I haven't seen North by Northwest.
Yeah.
Is it a great movie?
Great movie, yeah.
And how about To Catch a Thief?
I've seen it, but don't remember it that well. But, it's Hitchcock, so it's well made.
The thing that I was fascinated about, and here's the thing about Hitchcock, you probably know this, but our listeners, as if there are listeners, that Hitchcock he was always considered to be a great director. And I don't even know if what I'm saying is true. He was always considered to be a great director, but in America, he was like, oh, he's that great horror director. And then when Truffaut did a series of, I think, interviews with him,
Yeah.
it made kind of changed the way Hitchcock was seen.
Elevated him.
Elevated his status.
Yeah.
And is that true, generally, you think?
I think, it holds water
Yeah.
when you say it.
So, the thing that was amazing was
But
that...
he also had a TV series here.
Which I love that TV series.
It's a great series, but it takes some of the artiste out of the bag, I think.
Right, although I think, I admire when people do that because it's like a self-deprecation thing.
Well, I think he was a popular artist, though. I mean, that's the thing. He wasn't, he wasn't
no question.
Truffaut. I think technically, any filmmaker sees the technical, skill that's being put to use there, and in the way he can build suspense shot by shot.
Rear Window. I love Rear Window.
Rear Window. I mean, there's, we can go through the list. There's a ton of great movies he made.
But the thing I thought was fascinating was that there were a couple of directors. One was named Leo McCary, maybe. And he was saying that they were quoting from Cary Grant's autobiography. and they were saying that that this Leo McCarey was kind of a good-looking man himself, and
Right.
he was kind of a ladies' man, so he was able to show Cary Grant certain things to do that would make him look more elegant or make him look. And I thought it was really cool, and also that Hitchcock noticed a dark side to him.
Right.
It just made you really realize. Not that you shouldn't respect directors to begin with, but the collaboration when someone outside of you can see your potential.
Yeah, and look at just how everyone projected sort of something onto Cary Grant. It
Right.
seems like he was the ultimate sort of sex symbol of his time, and he was the ultimate sort of man's man.
Right, and they said for men
You
and
know.
women were attracted to him. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, and there was a big. He lived with a rumor of being gay himself for a
See,
while.
they didn't talk about that in the movie.
They
So
didn't talk about a lot of stuff in the movie.
Okay, so what was that?
Because they had his diary and his home movie, so they
Yeah.
sort of had to build it from his point of view.
Right.
I mean, they didn't talk about him being mean to his wives, and they didn't talk about a lot of stuff.
he was mean to his wives.
Like Diane Cannon wrote a book about how he used to like spank her when she disobeyed and stuff.
Oh, well, that's not
And
good.
he went into rages and things.
I want to let my listeners, as if there's listeners, know I'm against spanking your wife.
At least not
Unless,
consensually, yes.
Yes, when she's dressed as the school marm and I'm the pirate and we pretend that we just found buried treasure. Just can't stop laughing at myself. Come on, Josh. I'm delightful.
You are delightful.
On top of everything else.
You are.
What if I
You're a
couldn't
cherry on
stop-
top of yourself.
I'm the straw that stirs my own drink.
Yes. And lets the fizz out.
You know what they call me in the show business? Mr. May. Like, because Reggie Jackson was Mr. October.
Oh, I understand now.
Exactly. You got it now?
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting the feeling you didn't love the documentary.
I liked the documentary. I just felt like,
I like
I
anything.
said, I was, I've made a movie like a similar story.
Right.
So, and I went out of my way to bring in like some counterpoints to the, some people talking about the person in less than glowing terms too, to give a fuller,
Right. Yeah.
like they could have talked to his wives or used some, tried a little harder to find some footage of contemporaries of his.
Right. That's true. But, look, if you want to be a downer like Josh is, I like things. I watch things. I like to be entertained. That's all I care about. But you have to, everything with you is Mr. You're like a regular Rex Reed.
Right. That's why I don't watch anything.
No, okay. So yeah, I was gonna tell you that my mom said that the only time she ever saw my dad cry was when he watched Field of Dreams.
Really?
And now I cry when I watch Field of Dreams because it's pretty damn emotional.
Yeah.
But one time we were watching.
Picture yourself out in the yard throwing a cassette of Field of Dreams back and forth with your dad.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. But that movie was very effective. It was an intense movie.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams. I like that movie.
My favorite character in that movie is James Earl Jones.
Yeah, he's great in that movie.
I'm going to beat you with a crowbar until you leave me alone.
But I don't know what my mind. Okay, I said I wouldn't. Just take this part out. My mind's going blank a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really not. I'm not worried about it, except that I'm a Jew and worry about everything.
Right.
I don't want to have dementia. Does that work to not get dementia?
If just not wanting it?
Yeah.
Just warding it off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They say podcasting is really the thing that keeps you
Keeps your mind
keeps
fresh?
the plaque from setting in.
I like your tenuous hold on what causes dementia.
It's plaque. It's brain.
Do you think
plaque.
it is?
Yes.
How do you know,
Because
Mr.
they
Mr.
measure-
Expert?
Because they look at bad brains and good brains.
Oh, so you put a value judgment on it.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Bad person
No.
having problems.
No.
Just the brain.
No, just a bad brain. I had a bad kidney. It's gone now.
That's true. But I think you would be I think your bedside manner would be terrible as a doctor, so I've just decided.
Yes, I'd rather have you.
And you'd be all hands, too. That's the thing. That
Very handsy.
Yeah, very handsy. Doctor, why are you feeling my breasts?
Make up your mind. I have to adjust the chair.
There was a comic named George Hamadi. He was a hilarious comic, and his joke was, I don't know where you are, George, but you were very funny. He said, I have to get a new doctor because I asked my doctor if I should take my clothes off, and he said, wait till I start the music. Then another joke that he had was great was, he says, I know I've been doing stand-up comedy too long because I introduced my girlfriend to my parents, and I said, what do you want me to say about you? And that's pretty good, Josh.
That's pretty inside ball, though.
And by the way, the way Josh laughed, that's about as much as he'll give you.
That's all I'll give you.
That's it. He's a tough crowd.
I am. Unless
it's really good.
No, unless the meanest I've ever been to you and the most you've ever made me laugh happened at the same time.
What was that?
That was your pogo stick accident on Letterman.
How mean were you to me?
The fact that I just laughed and laughed and laughed after you injured yourself on national TV. Could not stop laughing.
Well, that was
just like the sound guy in the actual
just like
piece.
the sound guy.
It was that kind of laughter.
Who said he hurt himself on a pogo stick.
It was an amazing. For those of you who haven't seen it, is it online? Do you know? Mm-hmm. It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Like
They
Andy Kindler pogo stick. Would that
Andy
search
Kindler,
get you there?
Pogo stick Letterman.
Honest to God.
Toy Fair.
It is like, it's like a Super Dave almost sort of a fall. It's like the Great Gonzo almost. There's something about the arc backwards that you took that just made it so perfectly slapsticky beautiful.
Well, the night that it was on Letterman, I was in New York, obviously, because that's where Letterman is, and I was staying at the Parker Meridian, and Tom Arnold was staying there.
Oh, yeah?
And so he walked, I saw him one night, and I saw him the next day, and he said, he called me up in my room. He said, I've never seen anybody not do anything to break their fall. Nothing.
See, I'm still laughing like I just saw it.
And the reason is I have an excuse for it. These pogo sticks are like they're hydraulic, and you have to hold them with both your hands.
It's like riding a jackhammer, sort of.
Right, so you're holding this jackhammer type thing, and I kept getting. I would jump on the pogo stick, and it would go to the side. I would jump on the pogo stick, it would go. I got a compression. It went backwards, and because my hands were on top of it, I couldn't cushion my fall with my hands. I'm always reminded of the scene in Lost in America.
Yeah.
Where he goes to the guy in the small town to get a job at the employment office. Right. He goes, how much money did you make? $100,000. Over what time period was that? A year.
That was a year.
He goes, well, I'm very glad I could be your morning's enjoyment. Entertainment. Oh, yeah. He goes, are you sure you don't have anything? And the guy goes, you mean like in the $100,000 box?
I'm still getting pogo laughs.
Well,
the other time I remember laughing like that, where I could just think of it and start laughing, was...
I hope it doesn't involve me.
It does not involve you. It involves Greg Kinnear. I did this... we did this cold open. And the joke was basically, it's like him and the director in the hallway he's like, comes out of his dressing room. Morris, they're in there again. Could you just call the exterminator? This is freaking me out. And he's like,
was it the writers who were in there?
Huh?
Was it the writers who were in there?
No, they were. He walks back in, and there's miniature donkeys.
Oh,
this thing. But when we shot it once, and we got a decent take of it. We shot it again. Greg walks into his dressing room, and the donkey starts spraying diarrhea around his actual dressing room like a fire hose. Like he's literally like rotating and spraying this fire hose of diarrhea around.
I don't normally laugh at these type of things. It seems very funny to me.
It was fantastic. And Greg had this fantastic reaction, complete just realization, then freaking out and like diving just out of frame, kind of.
Oh, he dove out of his own office?
Yeah, like he ran right out the door just past camera. So it was like this beautiful, just like... and it was just like this amazing spectacle of diarrhea.
And how long did that take to get?
They literally had to bring in a hazmat team. There was guys in full hazmat suits.
Are you serious?
Yes, it was just amazing. And I learned you don't, because we wrote it at the last minute. If you're ever booking a donkey for your sketch needs,
don't feed them.
Book them in advance, because otherwise, then they won't feed them in the morning before the shoot. But we booked them around noon, so they had already fed them for the day.
This is information I never wish I have to have.
Oh my God, it was! And then we showed it on the show when I got in trouble for that.
Why'd you get in trouble? Because you booked them?
I was the head writer, and I was sort of in charge of.
Was it also your idea?
Oh yeah, I wrote it. And this is actually another positive Leno story, because Leno
Did you ever complete the Leno story?
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Write it down because someone actually emailed me
But
about
you still haven't
finish the
completed
Leno
it yet,
story.
right?
I know.
Oh.
But so they came. So like Rick Ludwin came to me really pissed off. Rick Ludwin was the head of late night for NBC for a lot of years.
I will just say this: when you said Rick Ludwin, I will just say this, and people can fill in their own blanks. Yes, I know who Rick Ludwin is, Josh.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
this was for people. That wasn't for you, Andy.
I'm sorry.
This was for those who weren't in comedy in 1990.
Ask me if I know Rick Ludwin.
Hey, Andy, do you know Rick Ludwin?
Yeah. I know him. Okay,
So Rick Ludwin super pissed at me. Gary Considine, head of NBC Studios, super pissed at me. But they didn't stop it from going on the air because we were on at 1:35. So they would just, they just heard about it the next day.
Oh, I see. You had to make the call to put it on the air.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny though, isn't it?
It was
With
super
them
funny.
diving out
It
of
was
the way.
super funny.
Yeah.
But they were mad at me. But all they could do is say, "Don't do that again." And obviously,
What were they
I
mad
couldn't
at
do it again if I wanted to because I put a donkey with diarrhea on their network. That's what they were mad at me about. But Leno watched it all day on his stage during his rehearsal. He was like, "Film me again." So the fact that Leno loved it so much,
Yes,
took a bunch of heat off of me.
and that's our first positive. Is that our first positive Jay Leno
It's
story?
the first one we finished.
Oh, unless you think it's positive that every time you hit pause, there was porno. Now, here's the thing. Did I ask you this? When you say it was porno, does that mean like the Playboy channel was on? Right?
I think it was more like Spectrum. Like
Okay.
it was like a slightly. This was a slightly.
People are going to
Playboy
think you're
Plus.
lying because Spectrum, I don't believe, was around. It was Adelphia Cable.
I have no, I have.
Wow. Now, do you want to complete the other Leno story?
Spectrum was the name of the Scrambled Naked channel when I was a kid. That was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually
Not-
thought what you were saying was because now Spectrum is taking over Time Warner Cable.
Right.
I thought you were making a meta joke.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I should have expected that.
I don't have that.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of,
not up your
That's
lap.
I'm not that
That's me.
sophisticated.
That's
not
me.
me. So the Leno story at NBC that I
You want
never
to catch
finished.
us up to date from before?
Sure.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I started this story, and this was in slight defense of Leno as a decent human being, at least, which I can't fully vouch for, but in this case,
Right.
NBC was like trying to crack down on their employees for marijuana use, and I can't quite remember if it was they were threatening to fire people who tested positive after 30 days. Or just take away their health insurance. And I think it was taking away their health insurance.
Do you know what sparked that ridiculous thing?
It was some ridiculous thing. Luckily, I was in the Writers Guild, and I had my insurance through them, so they weren't threatening the writing staff.
Right.
But the whole rest of the staff of the show.
Because you go by Josh's office, it's like Cheech and Chong is making their next movie. Thank you.
So Leno told NBC that if you fire any of my people, I'm going to hire them back from my production company. And insure them through that, so
that is not just a positive Leno story; it's a super positive
it was.
Leno story. He stood up for his people.
He did. Greg Kinnear, not so much. Greg Kinnear was more like, "I'm in the guild, right? This isn't for me."
Oh. I hate everything to do with drug testing. Maybe it's because did I ever tell you I tried pot a couple of times?
Have you?
Yeah, I tried pot, but I couldn't get the bottle up my nose. Is that the wrong premise?
Huh?
Now, I am touring the country. No, I have a series of Al jokes.
Of owl?
Al jokes. I'm
How
touring
are
the
you
country
spelling?
as altruistic.
Oh, Al. Okay.
I'm just doing this for you people. Right? I have al dente. These jokes aren't quite done yet, folks. Allow the comedy to mature to perfection as you ingest the punchline. And my new one is I am touring the country as Al Prazolem. Relax, folks. Relax. It's just comedy.
Are you doing outdoor amphitheaters as al fresco as well?
See, it doesn't matter. I'll have every version of Al. I can't. And someone online today came up with one you would have thought I came up with, alternative.
You'd think.
You'd think I come-
think maybe.
I saw I was interviewed. This guy was great. He was an anthropologist. He's writing about comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of myself because I was able to say to him and to anybody the truth when asked. I said to him, can you tell me again what anthropology means? Because I tell people things all the time. I forget what things mean.
Right.
And I say I've watched foreign movies. Right. I'm not lying ever again. No more lies. Truffaut? Sure, I've watched Truffaut. French films? I love them. I've watched Louis C.K. Does that count? Bang. Bang. I didn't even have to go get after Louis C.K. I just did it because you can't keep me down, Josh.
I won't even try. You're just my balloon. I'm just holding the string.
That sounds terrible. First of all, I weigh 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Look, first of all, I weigh 130 pounds. I'm north of 150 pounds.
Yeah.
If I'm a balloon, I'm not getting off the ground. Much like this podcast. Boom!
Snip, snip.
Oh, I can't. First of all, you told me never to bring up the snip snips.
Snip, snip.
It's the funniest thing. This is what he said to me. You can't see it, but he would snip, snip, saying he's going to cut it out.
It comes out whole is my way. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's fair. You know what? I'm going to start editing them. Great, Andy. Oh, it was a bluff.
The thought of you editing is hilarious.
I have done. Why? Do you think because I'm not
capable of editing?
Well, what do you mean? It's like you think it's funny, like Jerry Lewis, like, "Oh, give me the splice material." I happen to edit. I never edited it in the old way.
Yeah,
but I did watch Modern Romance, and they have an editing thing in there.
True enough.
So, I'm not completely unhandy, as my wife would say on our wedding night. Yes. I just want to say one thing. This has been a rock solid podcast.
You feeling that?
I really do. We're getting. I keep a running time, so this is my commitment to this podcast. How much longer do I have to do? Is what my internal monologue is.
Right.
At all times.
Right. That's just you on stage.
Did we cover our field trip? Was there anything else exciting about it?
Well, I went and bought you pot.
Yes. I think it's actually the gloves are off now.
Yeah.
The character of Andy Kindler does smoke pot.
Right.
And I love it in all its forms. I like tincture.
But you're too big a wuss to actually get.
I'm afraid to have a card.
So you'll go wait in the lobby for me to go in and buy you pot.
There is something sad.
There is something sad.
But I did get to see.
We live in a golden age, Andy. That's the thing. The thing is not so much that I mind getting you pot, because I don't, but it is so fun to go into a pot store. It is so awesome. It's the best thing.
Well, I have gone, but I've gone in Colorado.
Right.
And in Oregon.
Right. But how about one a block from your house?
No, I know. It's going to be, but soon, right? Soon
will they change? But it's going to be at least into next year.
But the only advantage to sitting out in the lobby was I did, and I'm not just saying this. I'm saying
did you get recognized?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying this for technical reasons. I saw 4 beautiful women go into the back who I think worked there.
Yes. See, you could have had more contact with them if you had a card.
Yeah, but when you're having contact with them, right, and you're going, do you have any sour OG?
Yeah.
Do you have King Tut's face?
And then they go, oh, good choice.
Right. Do you think you're really flirting?
No, I am not flirting because they're 18 fucking years old.
They're not 18 years old.
They are, literally.
You told me they were 20.
They are 18-year-olds.
When the police were carting me away. When the police were dragging me away, I said they were 20. But this is an unbelievable thing. It really is. This is the golden age. I never thought this would happen. Pot stores.
No, it's the only thing that's gotten better in our world. No, it is the only thing.
My friend will disagree with you. He'll add one more thing. My friend Larry Berger says the only thing that's gotten better in this world is coffee.
Coffee too.
See,
all right, I'll give you coffee as well.
Right. So do you think everything else we're doomed in general besides that?
I think so. I kind of think so.
Why? Just because we have an insane madman president?
Yes.
Who doesn't know anything about his job?
And an insane madman Congress letting him do it.
This is like the worst time period. And that's why we haven't talked about it.
Right.
We have wanted to make this experience of our podcast an oasis.
I think we're wise. I think it's the right thing to do.
think. Well,
I'm backing off. I'm backing off right now.
And the reason why it's wise is because we don't have anything good to say about it anyway. We just depress ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to finish the podcast.
We're moping to the choir.
Well, I used to have a joke. I like to preach to the choir because I kill.
Yeah.
That's the joke, Josh. Do you ever think that maybe I'm hilarious, but you're too analytical to appreciate it? Did you ever think of that? Thank you.
You know, in an actual comedy setting, I give it up for you.
I've seen you laugh at me in
I suspend my
clubs.
disbelief for you. I can't fucking believe you.
I heard you say the other week to our friend Goober that he's not as bad as I thought he would be during my act. I heard that distinctly.
Damn it!
It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
That wasn't good etiquette. I'm sorry.
How could I hear you? Well, also it's good. It's good hearing on my part.
It really is. I heard you on stage. My spidey senses are tingling.
Is that my voice?
Yeah, it was.
Ask me to do you.
Okay, do
Ready?
me. Yeah.
Hi. How's it going? I'm Josh. What are you wearing? So I've now portrayed
I'm a
you
phone
as a
sex
creepy.
operator.
Yeah, you're a phone sex operator and creepy.
Well, creepy.
You are not creepy.
I can't shed creepy.
You know what we should do? We should do a huge outdoor podcast. You know, not just like a podcast in the club,
Right.
but do it like the old San Francisco Comedy Festival.
Yes,
Do it with
Golden Gate Park.
75,000 people.
Absolutely.
Golden Gate Park. But we're still trying to have an intimate conversation.
Right.
We refuse to up the ante on it.
I'm sure someone has tried to do their live podcast to way too big a crowd already.
I'm already a guest on a show at the LA Podcast Festival.
Are you?
On Paul Gilmartin's the Mental Health Happy Hour. Was it?
I don't
Mental
know.
Health Happy Hour.
Yeah.
I'm already booked.
When is that?
It's in September. Now we can piggyback on that something.
Can we do some sort of pirate booth? Bring in a little banner and just sort of take over a booth?
Well, that always cracked me up about Corolla, because I've always had like a feud with Corolla. He's gotten even worse because he's like doing.
Now, when you say feud, do you mean you bitch about Corolla a lot?
Oh yeah, no, I'm afraid it's like a feud would be. My idea of the feud would be if I did see him, I would dress up in disguise and pretend it wasn't me.
Okay.
So what was I saying?
Corolla. Podcast Festival, September.
Damn it! No, but he has a show coming out that is it's him and Dennis Prager going to like college campuses because they're so terrible now. They're all triggered.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God! So I don't know how I got that from Feud. I was telling you about a Feud, but I don't remember how I got it. But you know what, folks? We have a new segment on our show, and you can participate, and there's a lot of prizes. What was Andy going to say? Where could that story go? It's like the New Yorker cartoon contest where you provide the caption.
Here was another request we got via email or Twitter.
Be funnier, both of us? Be funnier?
That's, again, built into every request.
Is it a comedy, what you guys are doing?
The Pina Colada song.
What about it?
You said you had an axe to grind of Pina Colada song on an earlier show. And
Well,
then
he
just moved
sings.
on.
I don't think I have an axe to grind, but it's like he sings a song about. I've never heard a song. He goes, if I say the lyrics, we don't have to pay, right? In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour, I promise myself to take myself and visit a nearby tower, and crawling and climbing to the top to throw myself off in an effort to make it clear to who. I don't remember the rest of the words, but the fact that I remember all those words.
Yeah.
How do you write a catchy song about suicide? Alone Again, naturally.
The theme from MASH.
Suicide is painless. Again, it's an incorrect premise. If I was to kill myself by banging my head in with a hammer, that wouldn't be painless. I don't know what's wrong with me, Josh.
I think it would.
Ta-da! You know that joke, right?
No.
Have I done that joke here? It's an old joke. It's a magician, and he's in a club, and he goes, I have the greatest trick that you will ever see. This is not my joke. This is one you can take home with you, or if you are home, keep it with you. I am the greatest magician, and I will do a trick. I have a sledgehammer. Anyone can come up to this audience and hit me as hard over the head with a sledgehammer, and it's a miracle what happens. So a guy comes up, hits him over the head with the sledgehammer. His head cracks open. He's blood streaming out. He's taken to the emergency ward, 4 months in the intensive care unit, and he starts to wake up and he says, "Ta-da!" Not bad, right?
No.
I saw a look on your face, but maybe I misread it.
Yeah.
But you almost had a look like, could that be our ending of the show tonight?
Yeah, that was.
That wasn't right.
No.
Do you have an ending? Because I asked you to work on some closing lines.
I do.
Okay.
Will you please get out of my house?